YouTube, what's the deal? It's your girl Jahira, and I am back. Back a little heavy-hearted. I am posting this as a video response to my girl Diamond Styles video entitled Transgender Attacked at McDonald's. And I don't know how many of you have seen the video that was posted on World Star Hip Hop. I will post the link below. But I warn you that it is an incredibly violent video. Definitely not suitable for work, for young children, for anybody that might be triggered by acts of violence. But to briefly recap you on the event that transpired, a young woman is seen in the midst of being beaten by two other women. At one point, she is dragged across the floor of McDonald's, while the manager, who had initially attempted to break up the fight, is simply walking around, presumably awaiting the police, and other McDonald's employees are standing there watching the fight, and one of them is filming the fight. At a certain point, an elderly woman steps in and attempts to intervene, and you can see the young woman wrapping her arm around the older woman's leg, I guess is a cry for help. And this young woman, who was not born genetically female, but certainly presents herself as genetically female, is beaten so badly that she ends up going into a seizure. And the backstory behind this is that it was in fact a transgendered woman who was beaten that way because she was attempting to use the women's restroom. I have lived my life as you see it now for going on 20 years. And it's so second nature to me that it's not something I spend a great deal of time thinking about, nor, as most of my subtastics will know, something I spend a great deal of time talking about. But it wasn't until 1996 that I realized, that it was presented to me, what a difficult decision using a bathroom can sometimes be, especially for women and men in the trans position. To watch something like this is beyond horrifying, and we as women, whether cisgendered or transgendered, cisgendered meaning biologically women, or trans, must learn and must take the necessary precautions to be prepared to defend ourselves. And I mean, it brings up so many emotions for me, and it's above all so sad that we are still living in a time where something as simple as using a bathroom can result in outbreaks of violence. And simply, I think it really all boils down to a non-willingness, a lack of ability to just mind our own business. I don't know how to put it another way. When I go to the restroom in a public venue, I am not thinking about the person in the stall next to me. I'm there to do one thing, and once that thing is done, I'm pretty much good. Yes, it's a women's restroom, and there may be some light, hey, how you doing, love your shoes, where'd you get them kind of conversation, but generally, yeah, I'm pretty good on, prying into somebody else's, personal life. I said in my second confessions video that this would not turn into a channel, where I wave the banner for all things LGBT. And I meant that because thank God for people like you, Diamond, and thank God for people like Chanel and the many people who continue to shine a light into for what most of society would consider to be a very dark place. You bring this to so many people's attention, and I am so grateful to you for it. But it touches me so personally because I've been there, and maybe I've just been doing this so long that I don't always consciously remember that I've been there, but I was that kid who stood, outside of the restrooms and decided to walk into the women's restroom. And now, as you said in your video, we're at a point where there's no other choice but to go into the women's restroom. And that shouldn't be something that anyone should have to fear. I mean, there's ways of expressing a level of discomfort if you see somebody, in a bathroom or in some public venue that maybe you feel due to lack of knowledge that they shouldn't be there. There's a way to convey that to somebody without putting your hands on them, much less two people on one, maybe 98-pound individual. Like, there's just other ways of going about it. I'm sitting here and I'm next to my child, and I don't know if he wants to say anything about this. You could nod. Yes, no. Okay, y'all. Here goes Shawnee.
Hey, I just watched the video and I couldn't possibly even begin to start as to where just the horrific experience that it's I don't understand what that could be like. I don't understand what it's like to be a transgender female, male, anything, but it's just to watch it for anybody that's a human being, and just something so simple as going to the restroom should never result in someone being attacked so violently. And then there's people, it's disgusting to see the fact that the employees there were basically sitting there watching and doing nothing. I understand, yeah, you are at work, but that isn't something that's supposed to be, McDonald's. That's a public place. It's a restaurant. It's supposed to be safe, and I'm trying not to get overwhelmed, angry at the fact of it. Not just it's a human being, and no one, regardless if you were born that way, if you progress and you decided to become, woman or male, female, it doesn't matter. Nobody should have to go through an experience like that, and it's simply it's disgusting. And what I don't understand, what could this woman have possibly done to be attacked by two others? And then as you see, if you would watch the video, you'll see that she wasn't even attempting to very much fight back. She was pretty much, covering up the entire time. And it's I'm not sure if it's a level of fear of what may result because of her own rights may not being seen, because she may be shunned for fact she is a transgender woman and defending herself, and they will still see her as a man. But in any situation, like I said, it could not be that deep for someone wanting to use the fucking restroom that you put your hands on anybody. And I'm I do thank God that I never had that, I was born, I'm happy with being content with the body that I'm in. But if I was put in that situation, hey, by all means, I love everybody. I'm not a violent person, but somebody would have had to get fucked up that day, because it's just that's not right in any sort of way. That was pretty much, it was the level of fear that she had to go through, to the point where you attack someone to the point they are into a seizure. They are in a seizure, and they came back several times. It's it's too much. It's like, what does anybody do to deserve that? Whether it's, you know, race, sexuality, whatever. It's not like, it is really not that. And it's like, I really think they were animals. They weren't, I'm not even calling women. Those bitches, excuse my language, I'm sorry for, you know, biological, but those were female dogs. Is the way they attacked her. They were ravenous. They were like pit bulls on her. Even if there was something that occurred in the bathroom, which it does not show, whatever, once that resolved, you continue to, you know, assault someone who can't fight back. What kind of pussy, what kind of punk does that? Like, she was defenseless. She pretty much did nothing to deserve anything of that nature, and it's just too much. And the fact that, you know, you showed a complete, not only a disregard for human life, you showed a complete disregard for elders. When an older woman, if that was always my experience, when an older person steps in or has to step in, then you know what, that's time for you to, you know, whatever it is squashed. I catch you when I catch you. If that was the case. And maybe laws are different where she was at, or maybe respect is different, but it's just like the level is where have we gotten to this point where this is okay? Mentally, where we feel it's okay to do this to anybody. And
hey, y'all. Sorry.
Yeah,
clearly this is, it brings up a lot of issues for a lot of us. And the one thing I do want to say, and Diamond, I'm not going to keep you forever, and I do thank you for allowing me to speak my piece. There are two suspects in this attack, and one of them has already been charged, and the other one, I believe they're waiting, or whatever the case may be. She hasn't been charged yet. One is 14 years old. The other is 18 years old. And the one who has been charged is a 14-year-old girl. She's being charged as a minor. And the one thing I really want to illustrate before we get out of here is that nobody is born hating. No one is born with hatred in their heart. Hate and ignorance are learned behaviors. And I just, you know, y'all know what this channel is about. We've got to watch what we're teaching our children, because this is a great big world that we live in. And just because I might have come up, you know what I mean, in a, like, for lack of a better example, in an all, you know, Jewish neighborhood, for example, does not mean that, you know, when I'm exposed to Gentiles, I get the right to act an ass. It just doesn't. And we've got to be teaching our babies that they're going to encounter all different kinds of people in this world, and they need to learn how to conduct themselves appropriately, especially, and here's the part where I get a little old-fashioned, as young ladies in different situations. We've got to. We have no choice but to do that. Do you have anything that you want to add before we...
I really want to piggyback on it. Like, I don't understand. We really have got to, like, learn to change the way that we think and what we are teaching this young generation, because that mentality, you know, it's not something that people just... I've never met a person that is just born evil, and that act was just evil. And, you know, we have to stop that. Like, it's unacceptable.
It is an atrocity, and I don't know the name of the woman who was attacked, but in the event that she should ever see this, please know that our prayers are with you. Our hearts go out to you. And if anything good can come out of this, it will be simply to increase awareness, inspire education, get a dialogue going, and ideally to teach our babies, serve as an educational tool that diversity is not something you can glide over when it comes to the upbringing of our young people. So with that being said, thank you again. Danae. Thank you, Diamond. I appreciate you. And I will see y'all again very soon, YouTube. So until next time, one love and peace.